Welcome back, everyone. It is that time again to give you an update on our forthcoming book, The Framemaking Sale, due out September 9. Karl, we are getting incredibly close, and hopefully everyone has gone out and ordered their copy. We can't wait to get it into everyone's hands. Karl, what we thought we'd do today is there's this really, I think, very simple in some ways, but incredibly powerful concept that we spend a decent amount of time talking about in the Framemaking Sale, something we're going to call the connector. And just to give you a little bit of background on what this is all about, think about your role in engaging your customers and how you can, as we like to say, be the one seller that customers actually do want to talk to. The starting point of frame making comes back to this idea of customer confidence, doesn't it? That our single biggest opportunity to win high quality, low regret deals is to help customers feel not so much confident in us, in our product, in our solution, us as a trusted advisor, or as a thought leader, but to help customers feel more confident in themselves and the decisions that they're making on behalf of their company. And we've unpacked that in previous videos, and the whole book is about this idea in all sorts of different ways. But one of the things that's really interesting within this sort of universe of helping customers feel more confident in themselves is this really interesting finding around engaging customers with expertise. Because one of the things we've found in all this research is really interesting is that when you show up with this sort of expert posture, you actually can do pretty significant damage to customers' confidence. And what I mean by that is if you engage customers, something like, Karl, I've been doing this for 30 years and I've kind of seen it all. And one of the things I would tell you is I think what you really need to do is X. It doesn't help. It actually hurts, strangely, doesn't it?
The piece that seems to have gotten nowhere near enough attention to date is this element of agency and how you help your buyer really feel in control of the decision and how they can really own it and have the confidence to make it again on behalf of their company. All of that becomes such a challenge for the individual, and that's where our role as sellers has to appreciate that agency for the buyer is so critical if you're going to enable decision confidence. And that's where so much of the kind of classic sales approach of being the expert just creates that confidence in you as the expert, not that self-confidence in themselves and their ability to take a decision and have the agency to really control it.
Bottom line is just you're essentially solving for the wrong dimension of confidence.
Yeah.
It does beg this really important question, like, so what's the alternative, right? And it comes back to the thing that that I think is really at the heart and soul of this idea of helping customers feel more confident about themselves. One of the things we also know from research, particularly people like Robert Cialdini, who wrote the amazing book Influence, is this idea of social proof. And that, in fact, one of the things that helps all of us, not as buyers or sellers, but as human beings, feel more confident is knowing that other people in similar situations or other people like us have taken a similar or followed a similar course of action. So one of the things, perhaps not surprisingly, that we hear customers say all the time, and you and Karl and I have heard it, along with everyone else listening here has heard it from customers over and over again, is, I just like to know what other companies like us are doing. I think there's real powerful, not only think, we know from research, there's real power in helping customers feel more confident in themselves when we can demonstrate to them not what we think or what we do, but what people like them think and what people like them do, what other companies. So in working with other companies, here's how they think about it. They're similar to you.
And it's that relatability dimension. It's that aspect of finding that commonality that helps someone say, oh yeah, I can do this. I can learn from their experience, of course. And I want to know their experience. I want to know where they struggled. I want to know what things, if they were going to do it over again, what they would tell me that, Karl, if you're going to try this, the first thing you need to be aware of is, don't make this mistake I did.
It really speaks to this really interesting opportunity to engage them, not with your deep expertise. I've been doing this for 30 years. Let me tell you what you need to do. But what if you engage them with a completely different perspective, which is what we call the phrase that frames, right? It's this idea that what I can do is demonstrate my ability to bring to you perspectives from other companies. It sounds a little bit like this, something like, working with other customers like you, one of the things that we've been surprised to learn is X. The first thing I'm doing is I'm leaning into social proof. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm just demonstrating to you what we've seen others do. And to your point, it could be things that they wish they'd done differently, mistakes they ran into. It could be things they did to solve a problem. It could be things that no one's thought of, but they thought of, but only the hard way. It's like they ran into this trouble so that you don't have to. And there's the small point, but I think powerful point of saying one of the things we were surprised to learn is that what I do in articulating as my surprise as opposed to my expertise is it puts me on the same side of the table as you as a co-learner. That rather than I'm trying to teach you something, I'm trying to learn something along with you. We're collaboratively learning together based on what we see out there. And I think this idea of the phrase it frames, it's not a rote phrase, is it, Carl? It's not something you need to memorize. And it's rather it's this posture of in working with other customers like you, social proof, one of the things that we've learned, and then we talked about prompting and bounding earlier, but you can turn this into prompt. One of the things that we've learned from them that others seem to overlook is, so I can prompt you, or one of the things we learned from them is it feels like there's 10 things to worry about and it's really overwhelming, but it seems to boil down to these two. So I can bound, right? I can help you. And that's all frame making, isn't it? Taking something big and hard and overwhelming and saying, here's a framework, back to your point, within which you can exercise your agency as a customer to decide where you want to play, but we're helping to make it feel more easy and manageable because we've taken something that's big and overwhelming and put a frame around it based not on our opinion, but based on others like you. To kind of button this up for now today is this, I think, this really powerful idea that, we tend to, I think and assume, and in fact, we've tend to been trained in sales to think that our number one source of value is our ability to deliver information and expertise to our customers. That's the source of our value is our expertise. And so that's why we think we can become more valuable with more experience. And to some degree, that is 100% true. But I think from a frame making perspective, and this idea of the phrase that frames and being a connector, is that in many ways, your true value in a world where you're trying to help customers feel more confident in themselves isn't your expertise, it's your access. It's the fact that you have access to other companies like them. It's this asymmetry of information where, in fact, you know more because you see, or you either individually or collectively as a team know more because you've seen this work and not work at other organizations, and it being the buying process itself, the decision, the installation, all of it. And you can help sort of curate that advice and provide it to your customer in a way that they wouldn't have access to it on their own. And so as you think about engaging customers in a frame making approach, the mindset that we've talked about before, which is how do I help my customers make the best decision they can in as little time as possible, is one of the ways I can help them make a really great decision is by helping them understand how others before them, like them, have made similar decisions and either wiped out or done really well, crushed it, right? And that I think is a super cool way to think about sort of how you stand out in the eyes of your customer. So more to come. These are hugely, not complex, but rich and layered ideas that we're trying to share with you guys. And what we always think is going to be a 3-minute video and turns out to be a 12-minute video. So there you go. The book is available again, September 9. We would love it if you pre-ordered it now, if you can, if you'd like to. One or another, whenever you get your hands on it, we really hope you enjoy it. And more importantly, we hope you find it valuable because we're just so excited to get these ideas out into the world very soon, Karl. Stay tuned.